What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, it's not often that we get a huge update like this, but from Deadline, we got an enormous detail about Sadie Sink's character, which has still been under wraps for Spider-Man Brand New Day, but apparently, we now know when she'll be showing up again in the MCU after that film. And Deadline doesn't often get things like this false, and they also know when they can and can't say something like this, which is all very curious and has to really make us think about who Sadie Sink is playing and what this update may be. We are breaking it all down, the latest breaking news in Deadline at midnight last night that Sadie Sink is indeed also going to be an Avengers Secret Wars. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, thanks to everyone who's been subbing lately and helped grow the channel. And if you haven't already, if you enjoy this type of content, whether you just found us or you've been rocking with us for a while, I would just kindly invite you to hit the subscribe button. It's the #1 thing you can do to support us. Plus, it'll enter you for all the giveaways. If you want, stick around at the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this crazy news actually broke late last night from Deadline in an article talking about Sadie Sink making her stage debut in London next March, being in a production of Romeo and Juliet. A majority of the article focuses on that, but towards the end, they say this, quote, Spider-Man Brand New Day is scheduled to open on July 31st. There has been much speculation about the role Sink has in the Spidey film, and frankly, I do not know the answer. But I do know that she'll join the cast of the next Avengers picture that shoots here in London later in 2026. You don't say. That's a pretty big piece of news to just sneak in there. Now, a couple of things. This writer wouldn't put this in this Deadline article talking about this Romeo and Juliet production and Sadie Sink unless he absolutely knew that for sure. So we can take this at least at face value to be the first of probably many casting confirmations for Avengers Secret Wars, but still the first. And the obvious implication here, which we'll get into in a second, is that Sadie Sink's character is pretty important if she's sticking around for the next Avengers film. The other pretty important point to make here is that these big Hollywood trades, Deadline and Hollywood Reporter to a lesser extent, but still, like Variety, they all work directly with Marvel Studios, and most likely there would have been an editor at some level that went over this article and approved it for publication, knowing that that piece of news about Avengers Secret Wars was in there, and they probably have some sort of light understanding with Marvel Studios. It's all to say Marvel may be okay with this news getting out. As to why, still unknown, but it has a lot more to do specifically with the character she's playing. Now, for all the rumors that possibly implied she was playing the villain Shathra, I think we can easily rule that out. I don't suspect her to either be the villain, or if she was the villain, to be sticking around for Secret Wars. Pretty safe to say the villain will be defeated during the film, and then it'll be on to crazier things leading into Battle World. And we're also pretty sure that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is absent from Avengers Doomsday, at least allowing a portion of the film of Brand New Day to overlap somewhat with the timetable, leading into what we suspect from Avengers Doomsday, and maybe by the end of the film, a Battle World formation. That being said, if she's in the film, there's a good chance that she is an ally of Spider-Man, and I think it also easily rules out something like a love interest as simple as Mary Jane, even though for obvious logical reasons, I don't think they were going there with the storyline either, but I think this really narrows in on an ally of Spider-Man, and from this point of view, for sure starting to look like Spidey's friend, none other than Firestar. Whether or not we're going to get Iceman in tow, who knows? But since they are focusing on mutants coming up here right around the corner with a younger cast, to have Sadie Sink be an already cast mutant in the MCU who shows up in Spider-Man, she's going to fit right in with the casting that's coming up for the new X-Men, right in with Marvel characters that are now mutants like Miss Marvel, and so it all sort of adds up to paint this picture of her definitely playing Firestar. Now, what that means for the end of Spider-Man Brand New Day, if she truly is a Spider-Man ally and fighting alongside of him, whether or not they would put Iceman, again, as a part of the team and do the full-on Spider-Man and his amazing friends, I have to believe it would be in the realm of possibility, but also we're expecting a team up a little bit different that includes Punisher, Hulk, and Daredevil, more of a street-level thing. It's going to be very interesting to see which direction they go with this. If you add Firestar and Iceman to that, you have a team that's 6 or 7 deep. Doesn't sound like exactly what we expect from the Brand New Day finale. Still, if she's going to show up in Avengers Secret Wars and part of that filming, and without any context, we do have to play devil's advocate for just a second and consider this. I have always said that I think in order to rival the portal scene at the end of Avengers Endgame, whatever the final scene in Avengers Secret Wars is truly going to look like, I thought they're always going to want to cram as many superheroes as possible into the frames, especially with the way they do the CGI and the battles, and knowing a lot of them wouldn't have to do any voiceover or dialogue at all. It would be as simple as dragging them into the 3D mapper machine that captures their body, putting them into the machine, and then they wouldn't even have to be on set the way that they all were for Avengers Endgame. Of course, they could do something a little more intimate, but I think they want to rival that portal scene and really having the entire width and breadth of every Marvel character that's existed in the MCU, any of the adjacent Marvel universes, probably not any from the Sony universe, wouldn't expect Morbius or Madam Web to show up, but literally anybody and everybody else. Yes, I'm dead serious, none of the Sony characters, but everybody else. Sorry, Tom Hardy's Venom. So, the point I'm making, if anybody gets announced as part of the cast for Avengers Secret Wars, I'm not sure we can infer much at all. I'm not sure that we can tell that they're an actual main member of the cast and plot, or if they're just a part of the final battle, and that's why I do suspect over the coming 6 or 7 months, as we head into principal photography for Secret Wars, starting up in the spring, around reportedly April, we're going to be hearing about a lot of Marvel characters being a part of the plot or being a part of the film, but it doesn't mean necessarily that they're a huge part. They could just be showing up at the end. Technically, if you said that Harley Keener, played by the actor Ty Simpkins, was back for Avengers Endgame from Iron Man 3, you would have been correct, but he literally stood there for about 4 frames during Tony's funeral and didn't have any speaking dialogue at all. This is what I mean. There can be a lot of cameos announced, and it possibly doesn't mean anything except that they'll be showing up in the film. So, the only inference I think we can truly make is that she's playing a superhero. So if it's the smallest of roles during that final scene, sure. If it's anything else more than that, she's definitely a superhero. That's the only way she returns. Oh, and the other thing, she definitely survives Spider-Man Brand New Day. Other than that, still a lot of question marks, but hilarious that this writer writing about something else completely different would sneak this huge piece of news in there at the end. Bravo on a way to drive the SEO on your article deadline. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below though. If you have a take that's different than this, maybe you see it differently than I do. And, again, let's not get caught up on every casting announcement we hear confirmed for Avengers Secret Wars for the reasons I outlined in this video. Could be everybody. Probably will be everybody. Let me know all your thoughts down below. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, still giving away PS5s for every Marvel drop. The next one will start up in 2026 with Wonder Man. In the meantime, we're going to be doing a couple of rounds of the Fire and Ash ticket giveaways. In fact, in the next video, we'll announce a couple of new winners. All you got to do, be a sub, leave a comment down below. It's that simple for any of the giveaways because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners announced at the end of videos. Same way we're doing here, live with my voice and the winning comment shown on screen. If you want to keep up with the videos, best way to do that is to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. My name's Michael Rimmon. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. Find me on all other platforms with original music under the name AllFires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.